Okay, yarn driving roller is one that will be directing. That will be directing the polymers spin wire to the required direction. Okay, this is about the melt spinning. Now, please do not get confused with the melt spinning, dry spinning and wet spinning. Melt spinning is before it is converted to wire, this powder will be melted. And look into this dry spinning. Dry spinning is one. Here, please understand the raw material which you are going to use for the hot spinning. We are going to use for this hot spinning. You can see that melt spinning is a powder. And in case of dry spinning, it will be in the form of a solution. The solution how to be dried out. Correct? No? Polymer solution will be there. This particular bath will be carrying the polymer solution. And if it is required to mix with the different chemicals also. For example, in order to have certain qualities and characteristics and colors and all this. So it will be stirred. Always a small stirrer will be there so that it will be dispersing all these elements uniformly throughout this work volume. Okay, so this polymer solution will be maintained. This path will be a polymer solution, and through this nozzle it is made to flow through the pump, and it will be spin rate. While it is after the spin rate, what happens? There will be air. Forcibly, the air is made to circulate over this, and it will become dry. And even though it is dry, a small amount of water particles will be present and heating jacket will be there. It is made to flow through this heating jacket, and this is called as evaporation chamber. In this evaporation chamber, this wet the spin rate polymer will be converted into a solid form. And as soon as it is coming out of this evaporation chamber, it is made to flow through different coils, the directing coils and redirecting coils and yarn coils and all this, so that it will be spooled out by making it into a filament thread. So whether it is a wet spin, a dry spin or a wet spin, basically we are going to make into a thin wire so that this wire can be used for the 3D printing purpose. Okay, 3D printing purpose we can use them. So we understood melt spinning, dry spinning, and let me come to the wet spinning. What is this wet spinning? Wet spinning, the spin ropes will be there, and it is made to flow through these different rollers. It is made to flow through these different rollers, and it will be treated the different paths. Okay, and once after you can see that coagulation path, and again there will be roller for the directing them, and there will be washing and drying path. Then after that it will be dried and it will be winded. There will be a wet spinning. Wet spinning. The solution will be there that is made to flow through. Okay, that will be made to flow through. Then it will be treated in different paths so that it will be taking different shape. Finally, it will be dried out, and the dried wire will be winded onto a roller or a bobbin. Okay, so we understood melt, dry, and the wet spinning methods. And after that, so many other methods are also there. You can see, you try to understand the die casting. Die casting is one. Already you know that the fixed plate will be there, and the moving plate there will be a die, and in between there will be a small cavity will be generated, will be provided. That cavity is based on the type of design what we require. Then to this cavity directly this metal will be injected. And we are not restricting ourselves only for the polymers and all these, even for the metals. Even for the metals, you want to do small kind of treatment. That time you can see that based on the type of the shape what we require, the shape will be generated, and it will be very much useful for the mass production, not for the single. I want to have a single part. I want to go for the die casting. It is not possible because the cost of this particular increased. Okay, so that whenever you require a mass production without much more change in the shape, and we need to take the mass production if you have to do, that time it will be helping us a lot. And the ladle will be there. Ladle is one which will be having the molten metal. The metal will be melted into a crucible, and once after that it will be poured into this cavity, and once after poured into a cavity, the injection piston which will be moved to the front, so that what happens, the piston which will be moved, whatever the metal is there, that will be flowed into this. Okay, so that is how the die casting will be done. And if the shape is very simple one, manually it can be operated. If the shape is very complicated, if it is required the multiple stages of the die casting and the size is very big, then we can even go for the pneumatic or hydraulic die casting. Okay, manually we are going to push it, or by using the mechanization or hydraulic and pneumatic systems we can push them up. So based on the type of mechanism we are going to use for the injection purpose, okay, we can have the mechanical, electrical and hydraulic. Different methods may be employed for the die casting. And rotational casting. The rotational casting is one whenever you require a similar shape. For example, you have a jar. Okay, you have a roller. Okay, it will be having a defined axis. So that time you can go for the rotational casting or spinning. Okay, in this particular form, what happened, you can just look into this, the 4 different stages I have shown here. You can see there will be a rotation mechanism. Mostly the bevel gears will be used. So, or by using the belt system and motor system, it can be rotated, and this particular arrangement will be supported toward the bearings, and always it will be kept in the vertical direction, not in the horizontal, in the similar position. And the plastic powder is poured into this. Once after the plastic powder is poured into this, the whole region will be totally closed tight and it will be heated up. Once after heating, what happens, it will be coming to the fluidic form. Then after that, it will start to rotate at a very high speed and it will be cooled down. By rotating and cool down, what happens, it will be resuming the shape. And it is also called the centrifugal casting. You can, okay, you understood, I think. It is called as centrifugal casting. And whatever the shape of this molding box is, that similar shape which will be resuming. Okay. And once after that, it will be demounted. Demounted in the sense it will be removed from the casting. And compression molding. Compression molding, mostly it will be very much useful for the powder metallurgy. The powder metallurgy, the compression molding. For example, you say this is the shape we require, and this charge, the charge may be highly plastic material, it may be as powder. The powder technology we are going to use for this, that also can be, or even the elastomers. Elastomers are those, once you are going to apply them, what happens, they'll be changing the shape based on the requirement. Elastomers. Okay, and here the charge will be kept with this moving and the stationary die, and once the force is applied, it's a closed die process. And what happens, this particular powder will be resuming this particular shape, and it will be taken up and it will be heated. It will be heated and it will be treated so that the powder will be converted into a single unit. It is called the compression molding. And injection molding is one, again the injection molding, wherever very intricate shapes are there, it is not possible to have the proper flowability of the material. That time you are going to use the injection molding machines. The injection molding machine, if you want, I can send you one of the industry at the Pinyan. You can go and you can look into how they are doing the injection molding. The machines are more than 80 to 100 feet length. We happen to visit